I was wondering the other day whether or not air arcade battles would be worth it for jets. Today's video will answer that particular question. I do apologise for not uploading as much. I have had internet issues for the last few days. As a result, there'll be a lacking amount of content. Regardless, there is another video on aircraft on jacks if you want to check out a Kamov A7, which is a gyrocopter which has a fascinating history. Click up here. Otherwise, today's topic is going to be about air arcade battles, particularly within the jet realm. Now, there isn't really a point to you playing top-tier jets at all. There is no point at all. You have a limited afterburner, you can't wep, or should I say, use your afterburner fully. Aircraft models are just incredibly insane, and what you usually pull in realistic battles doesn't apply here, and everything is just a UFO flight model. Plus, you can lock anything, even if it doesn't have a hot heat signature. See what happens when we put a TB3 out. Let's see what happens, what they do. I've challenged Ash to get a kill. Let's see how we go. There's a MiG-23, a Hunter. The FJ's on fire, and a MiG-15. Oh look, there's a MiG-15. No, I'm just gonna fly over this way. Already two people have left. That's funny. That really is funny. So it's just top-tier squads of players just squatting up to get matches. You can't launch a missile at me, can you? You can. Let's avoid the missile, that's for sure. We're gonna avoid it. No, never mind, we just got missiled by an F8. And I mean, the game mode's certainly fun. We did play a couple of matches, but this one really cemented what the, I guess, air arcade sort of aspect really was. Not only was the queue times incredibly immense, I think I had like a 5 to 10 minute waiting time just to get one single match. There were hardly anybody playing this sort of game mode. Barely anyone queuing up for a match, and certainly it's really a nasty loop, which means that low population means fewer players want to play there, so in turn Gaussian wants to attract players with better queue times and sacrifices balance in order to do such. But in this case, a lack of players, and you've got a 4-man squad on the enemy team, isn't really that great in my opinion. The whole entire concept of you being able to play arcade and obviously allow you to really make more mistakes with the downside of having lower returns doesn't really apply here, considering air realistic battles tends to be a short 5-6 minute match anyway, and you've got a single aircraft to play rather than a lineup. Maybe the solution here is to increase lineups, or at least allow vehicles to have a lineup in air realistic, but that'd be more an enduring confrontation thing, you'd think, right? Now, I understand wanting to unlock upgrades and, you know, spade aircraft, or just trying to unlock stuff, but it really depends on what kind of fun you're having, and I highly recommend that you don't play jets in air arcade. There isn't really any validity to it, there isn't really anything you're going to learn, but on the other hand, you're not really going to enjoy yourself too much unless you want an Ace Combat sort of feeling game, which there are plenty of those other types of games on the market. Ace Combat, Project Wingman for example, just to name a couple. It's not like I'm saying air arcade is bad for the newer player. In fact, it's fantastic at doing that. Lower tiers is something that is great fun, especially just playing casually. However, in that same sentence, so is realistic battles. So the divide isn't necessarily that clear-cut here, but for top-tier jets, really, I think realistic is as best as you can possibly get. Yeah, it actually does take some resemblance of skill to point and click in air arcade, but in the same regard, it does for jets as well, and, well, that's just the nature of this game. Certain aspects are, I guess, require some element of skill, regardless of whether it's luck or just pure circumstances. Sometimes people get lucky and other people just know what they're doing. I'm looking at you, Copsy, and all your esports players. It's not that air arcade is an easier game mode in functionality. Technically, you have less to worry about, but as a general indicator, you have infinite ammo and obviously UFO flight models, which can be particularly interesting. In terms of realistic though, you have to manage everything, your engine temperatures, where you're going, your radar, your systems, you have to lock on when you want a particular target, or you have to manage a bunch of things. Granted, it's no DCS, but Warthunder, for the lack of a competitor here, has really cornered the market on the arcade simulation. How casual is it a game that I'm allowed to play a MiG-27 and pull a maneuver like that? Absolutely ridiculous. And as someone who's been getting into more flight simulators recently and getting stuck into IL-2 again and looking at potentially doing DCS, reality is often that mixed interests provide a good comparison for what your interests may or may not be. I like realistic things, I like realistic feeling games, but I also like having a little bit of control, so maybe this isn't the game for you. But, you know, air realistic battles is definitely the better option, at least for the most casual players. Even if going back to play a propeller-driven aircraft and side-climbing for 6 minutes only to die within 30 seconds is really a good option for you, but, you know, realistic battles aside, this game has plenty to offer and certainly is a stepping stone to other simulators. If you're like me and you've played the game for 9 years, you've probably seen everything that there is to see in War Thunder, so let me know what you think in the comments down below. Anyway, my name is Ash, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.